Guys, hope you are doing really well out there in the insane asylum. Back today with another video where I'm going to be speaking about the truth movement. Before I do, don't forget to hit the like, comment, subscribe, and if you'd like to work with me, check out my website transcendingtimes.org. So these are thoughts that I've had for a long time now, but really the last 6 months as things are coming to a head, I guess you could say, with their rush to get the biodivergence agenda and human beings waking up. I hate that term, but let's just use it for the purpose of this video. It's really been quite obvious to see how this has all been set up from the start. They've controlled, in my eyes, the whole thing. Now, I'm not saying that, of course, truth-seeking is incredibly important, right? I'm not demonized the act in and of itself of seeking truth. We need to do that. But my point is they're basically controlling the whole thing. They're controlling the narratives and where it leads people. That's the important point in all of this. And if you look at their own quotes, right? Vladimir Lenin, the best way to control the opposition is to lead it ourselves. If you watch a documentary called Europa: The Last Battle, I've spoken about it on my channel before. It's about 12 hours long. You can't even find it on YouTube, or I think it's on Odysee. But it really goes into great detail just how deep the infiltration goes. They infiltrated both sides of the war, and also they had saviour programs running. When you look at what happened to the 50 million Christians that were starved by the Bolsheviks, they had like a white hats QAnon PSYOP going, and all these poor people were waiting for saviours. And of course it never happened, and they all starved to death. As well as that, they would have prayed, right? Because they're Christians. So where was God in all of this? He left 50 million people on red. But when you watch that, you really understand through looking at history, true history. Wow, these psychos, they really do control both sides, and they funnel people into the direction that they want them to go. And people need to really wise up and get smart to this. And I know a lot of people that are watching this on my YouTube, you guys will be. But what I'm realizing is there's a lot of new people that are waking up. And I find it very interesting that all these big truth seekers, they all had their YouTube channels reactivated at the same time, where this awakening started to gather traction. And now all these people are kind of stuck in a fishing net because they can't leave these celebrity truthers, because they've not taken and they've not had long enough to go down the path of discovering their own sovereignty and the fact that they are their own saviors and they are their own leaders and everything else that comes with sovereignty. And so it's a very clever, it's like the people that are waking up now, they can see the spider, but they're still stuck in strands of the web, and they're being diverted, they're being funneled away from themselves. And I've said before, you can be aware of all the corruption and what they're doing, and they're poisoning us and all of this stuff, but if you're not awakened to yourself, then you're not getting any further. And we see how a lack of sovereignty leads to people being recycled back down here. When you look at the NDEs, I did one last week, I reviewed one last week, where the woman, she had no sovereignty. She believed in Jesus, she didn't question anything, she was looking for a saviour, she put Jesus and these deities on a pedestal, and they trounced all over her, and now she's back down here again, right? So this is why it's important to embody sovereignty now, and then when the time comes, you've already done the work, right? And that's an inside job, it's internal. And people, they're so obsessed with looking outside themselves. And I'm not saying that, we don't have to be aware of what they're doing and the agenda and everything, but if you're not doing any work on your own psyche, your inner work, the mental schism that we have of slavery, of looking for a savior, of looking for leaders, people to tell us what to do, it's still the same thing. You're just replacing government with your favorite celebrity truther. And the likes of, you look at like Alex Jones and David Icke that have been put out there from the start, given like world platforms, I don't want to make this all about David Icke again because I can't be bothered to deal with all the comments. But, you know, he's given like Wembley Arena, like the biggest stage in the UK. You know, he's got 1 million subs, like and then you've got Alex Jones that's got his own like TV show. You know, these are there's things that like that people should be looking at that don't add up, right? But the last 6 months, as I say, where I've been watching closely, where these big celebrity truthers are actually leading people, it's into a big rug pull, right? It's into appealing to authority, protesting, petitions, you know, all this kind of stuff. Alex Jones' case, it's Jesus, you know, he's constantly banging on about Jesus is coming and all this stuff, right? And so what they've done is they've woken people up to a point, and then at the vital moment when people need to take the next stage and then start moving towards their own sovereignty, the rug gets pulled, and then you're back where you started in a slave mentality, marching on the street, shouting at empty buildings, singing Christmas carols where the stage is all set up and you actually have to ask permission to march on those days, right? And so what they're doing is they're looping people back to where they started, because like I say, you're just replacing government, you're still appealing to authority. Example of a rug pull this week of a well-known DJ in the UK called Danny Rampling, which pains me because I used to listen to his music. He's like a hard house techno DJ, very famous in the late 90s, early 2000s. And of course, he's still got a huge following. Those people watching in the UK might know him. But he came out as like a truther a couple of years ago. Recently he's commented on a few of my posts over on Facebook. And strangely enough, he only comments to defend people that I'm sort of questioning or calling out. He never comments on any other posts, right? And I thought, well, that's weird. Sounds like he could be in the club and he's protecting them. So anyway, I went to his Instagram and I thought, well, let's see how much for the truth he really is. And yeah, he's posting, you know, they're doing this, data centers and yada yada yada. Anyway. Then I stumble across a post. Charlie Ward, the white hats are in control. There's your rug pull. There's your rug pull. So there it is, the Saviour program, the most obvious one, right? You know, if anyone thinks the white hats are coming to save them right now, then you need your head tested. And then on the post afterward, it was Elizabeth April. You know, what's she promoting? Saviour programs. So you see how these people with massive followings give you all this truth, and then boom, pull the rug. Next thing you know, you're into a saviour program and all that kind of stuff, and you're back where you started. And also, interestingly enough, he posted a group, right, on one of the posts called the Sovereign Project, right? It's a group you can join, right? And I thought that's interesting, because they're using the term sovereign again, because they know sovereignty is really important. That's where we need to be. So they use it and they invert it. I've said before how they use it for their kings and queens. And I thought, I bet this is like a cult group. So I go on over there, and the symbology alone, I mean, it's an inverted triangle with a human inside of it. And then you look at the post and it's all appealing to authority, black law, common law, all of this stuff. And I've said before, it doesn't matter if it's common law, Black's law, legal law, constitution, Magna Carta, none of that matters, right? It's all games within a game. You know, if you get caught in any of those, you're still in the game, because you're still not truly sovereign. Sovereignty doesn't recognize authority. There is no body higher than your own authority. Nobody has the right to tell you what to do, how to live your life, to make laws, or anything like that, right? And that's where they don't want people. They still want you playing these silly games, right? So I found that really funny how, again, they'd hijacked the term sovereignty and used it for something to hook people into. Because I think subconsciously, that's a word that resonates with us. That's a word that we realise that's what we need to be. So when we see these concepts thrown around, we're more malleable, if that makes sense. So that was a blatant rug pull. And then you've got, there was another one, Andrew Brigden. You know, he's another one in the UK where he's apparently going to go back and have this case against Matt Hancock, but you've got to donate to him like 65. He wants like £100,000 to do it or something. And what is that? It's an appeal to authority. You've got hundreds and thousands of people sitting around waiting to see what's going to happen in this court case. And they're just laughing at us. They really are. This is what I mean. They're just controlling people. It really makes no difference to many people. You might as well still be following a political party because you're not getting any further. And the other reason for controlled opposition, and the reason why they want to control it, is because it makes you think that there's other people out there doing stuff, so you don't have to, so you don't take any action yourself, which is what we all need to do, right, in our own personal lives. And everyone's solution is different. I've said this before. My solutions here in Mexico with the community around me are very different to someone who lives in London or someone who lives in Africa, right? This is what being your own leader is all about. But these controlled opposition makes people just sit back and think, okay, I don't need to do anything because Bobby Kennedy or whatever, he's going to go back into Congress and do this and do that. So he's going to stop the trials in the sky. Has he stopped the trial in the sky? No, he hasn't. Right? These people are just put there to keep people passive, keep people from doing anything basically. So it's very clever what they've done, and that's the reason why I believe that the truth movement was a PSYOP from the start. They want to control it. They want to control the direction it goes into and where it ends, and we have to be very aware of that and very smart and cute and not fall for it, because seeking truth is very important, right? I'm not demonizing that. We have to do that, but we have to do it in a sovereign way and not follow these Pied Pipers around and be led where they want us to be led, basically. So, yeah, if you like the video, guys, hit the like. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and I'll see you on the next video. Take care.